In this video, we are going to go over a variety of LPVOs that I've used, and I'm going to share which ones I like the most, why I like them, and hopefully help you know which one will work best for your setup. The prices range from around $3 grand to about $400, so if you're looking for an LPVO in this price range, this video is for you. I'm not really going to go over the technical specs of the optics. I'm more so just going to talk about which ones I prefer to run and for what reasons I like them more than the others. To save you some time, and because I'm going to refer to them throughout this video, my top 4 favorite LPVOs are: number 1, the Leupold Mark 4 HD 1 to 4.5, number 2, the Trijicon AccuPoint 1 to 4, number 3, the Sig Tango6T 1 to 6, and number 4, the primary Arms PLx compact 1 to 8. All of these are exceptional options, and I don't think you would regret getting any of them. But I would watch the whole video, because even though they are my top picks, there are pros and cons to everything, which I think you'll want to hear before making your final choice. Before I go into it, the best way to support the channel is by becoming a member of the kit page, where I provide discount codes and organize all the links to everything I talk about on the channel. Make sure you signed up for this month's range day. It's coming up soon. Details are linked in the description. Huge thank you to the sponsors of the channel, Guns Online. Thank you. This is where I get powder expansion rock throwing devices, both certified used and new. They have all the things, you know what I'm saying. And of course, Optics Planet. Use code GMNM at checkout, or use the better code on the kit page. Full disclosure, I've run some of these LPVOs more than others, and I'll be sure to explain which ones later in the video. I tried to get a good variety of optics, and in order to do that, I reached out to each company or used Optics Planet to get most of the options I'm going to talk about for free for this review. Though some I already had and have run for a while now, like I said, I've used all of them now, and I feel like I can share honestly which ones I liked the most. Going down the list, but not in order of price yet, we're going to talk about the Nightforce ATACR 1 to 8, the Nightforce NX8 1 to 8, the EOTech Vudu 1 to 6, the Trijicon AccuPoint 1 to 4, the Leupold Mark 4 HD 1 to 4.5, the Sig Tango6T 1 to 6, the primary Arms PLx compact 1 to 8, and 2 gunnr odin options, one that's a 1 to 8 and the other is a 1 to 6. And I added these as a lower cost option to the mix, but that's the lineup. Now, before I start, I need to say I wish I was able to get better footage of what each optic actually looks like when you look down range. For the most part, you're going to have to take my word for it. I was limited when it came to the camera options, so the quality isn't 1-to-1. So just be aware of that, and I'll be sure to explain in the best detail I can how good each one looks in comparison to the video you're seeing. Just disregard any glares or if the brightness of the illuminator is reflecting off the lens. Just know you don't actually see those things in real life. It's just the camera. Starting with the most expensive to least, the Nightforce ATACR 1 to 8 is one that I've had for a while, and I have loved it. These retail for around $3 grand after tax. This was one of my first high-end LPVOs, and I really enjoyed using it. The glass is exceptionally clear, the zoom is sharp even up to its highest power, and it's built like a tank. I personally think it's leagues better than the Razor HD Gen 3, almost solely because of the eye relief. The Nightforce's is not the best out there, but for everything else you're getting, you kind of just make it work. But I would pick this 100 times before I pick to the Razor, even though they are similar in most other ways when it comes to quality. I just prefer optics that have better eye relief, which you'll see later in this video is a heavy factor when deciding my favorite LPVO. Overall, the ATACR 1 to 8 is a fantastic option. It's really expensive, so it's not for everyone, but this is one of, if not the best, 1 to 8 power LPVO on the market. Is it my top choice? Because of the price and the not perfect eye relief, no, it's not. But if you have all the money and you just want a phenomenal bulletproof option, there really isn't another option out there like this. Next on the price list, we have my number 3 favorite option on the market, the Sig Tango6T 1 to 6 DVO model, which retails for around $2,400 after tax. And this option also comes with a riser, but you can actually pick up a non-DVO version without the riser for around $1,800. The difference between the DVO and non-DVO models, besides the riser, is when looking at the DVO model, it refers to the version of the Tango6T selected as the US Army's official optic for the squad designated marksman marksman rifle program. This just means it's a military issued optic versus a non-DVO, which still holds all the same quality and value, but it hasn't been through the same processes as the DVO version has to go through. If you want to pay more for the DVO, that's totally up to you, but the regular one is basically the same thing. Besides that, I've actually been pretty impressed with this optic. The glass is really clear, the eye relief is actually pretty nice. I would say this is actually one of my favorite options I'm going to talk about in this video. I might even run this over a Nightforce ATACR, especially if you pick up the less expensive version. Overall, I'm super impressed, definitely can recommend this one. Moving on, the Nightforce NX8 is about $1,000 less than the ATACR, retailing for around $2,000 after tax, and I would say at this price point I wouldn't pick this option over some of the others I have in this lineup. It is still all the quality and excellence you would expect from a Nightforce, but I honestly don't think I would pay $2,000 for it. I'm not saying that if you have this you made the wrong choice, it's still one of the better options out there, but the reasons that I don't personally love it are there are other options out there that have better eye relief and the price is on the high end. The illuminator does look great indoors and out, even in bright conditions, and the glass is super clear just like the ATACR, but again, there are some other options I think I would recommend over this when it comes to the price. Still a great option though, you definitely get what you pay for. Now moving on to my number 4 top choice, the primary Arms PLx Compact 1-8. This optic retails for around $1,600 and I've been really impressed while using this thing so far. The glass is extremely clear, the eye relief is impressive at all powers, the dials and function are all very well done. Just not a lot of bad things to say about it honestly, which is why it made my top 4. Probably the biggest reason it's number 4 and not number 2 on my list would be the price, because it's tough to say for just a little bit more you can get the Tango6T, which feels a little more rugged and duty ready, but I would say I like the glass and the ADS experience more on this one for sure. And it really could be just as rugged, but I'm pretty nice to my gear, so you'll have to find a torture test on another channel to see how it holds up. If I had to guess, the Tango6 would outlive this one, which makes the price difference understandable for me. Definitely an amazing option though. I would say this is easily one of the best LPVOs I've used. Next we have the EOTech Vudu 1-6, which retails for around $1,400, and I actually really like this optic. The eye relief is pretty good at the low powers, but when you get up to 6, the eye box gets pretty tight and your head needs to be in just the right spot, which was a similar feeling to the Vortex Razor 1-10, and I didn't love that. The glass is super clear though, even at a high power, which is a huge pro. I think they should have went with a dial instead of a rubber button for the illumination settings. Pushing a button is always harder than twisting a dial, and you never know what setting you're actually on, which is a little annoying. I do love the reticle that they use. It allows for really quick target acquisition, and the way it was designed is really well done. Overall, even though it's not my top choice, it's still a solid option. Big fan of EOTech. Moving on to my top choice, my absolute favorite LPVO on the market for many reasons, the Leupold Mark 4 HD 1-4.5, which retails for just around $1,000. Now, why is a 1-4.5 my top choice? Why not an 8 or a 10 power? I've run a lot of variable zoom optics, and the only time I wish I had more zoom capabilities over an 8 power is when I'm shooting over 300 yards. I would say realistically on a regular basis I'm training within 100 yards, and a 4.5 power is more than enough to stay accurately on target, all while adding the benefits that come with having a true low power variable optic. One of the greatest pros is its incredible eye relief. Even at 4.5 you can move your head quite a bit before you lose your sight picture. This means faster target acquisition even at greater distances and less strain, which makes shooting much more comfortable than some of the other options out there. The glass is incredibly clear. It almost feels to me like this is a 1-6 because of just how clear things look through the optic. It feels pretty lightweight and it's fairly small, which makes it easy to run on short builds, and the illuminator is really bright. It's just a really well made optic, especially for the money. If you want a very high-end LPVO for way less than what I feel like it's worth, then this is the one for you. Now the cons, really there's only 3 that I can think of. The first being that the illuminator is a single button rather than a dial, so you have to click through the brightness settings in order to find the right one. I think single button illuminators are fundamentally flawed, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure there are some people out there who really don't care about it. The second con being it only comes in a second focal plane option, which means your holdovers will change based on the power level you're zoomed into. And the third being it doesn't come in flat dark earth. I know a lot of people out there just paint their stuff, but I'm super picky and only Cerakote, so sometimes I wish it just came in flat dark earth so I didn't have to do anything to get it how I wanted for the build. Overall, this is my top choice because it's such high quality for the price. The eye relief is amazing and it checks all of my boxes for an optic that's easily very capable within and even past 100 yards. Great option and I can highly recommend it. Next we have my second top choice, the Trijicon AccuPoint 1-4, which retails for around $900. Now, even though this optic was released 16 years ago, it's still regarded as an excellent option, and I will absolutely stand by that with my experience so far. All the things I love about the Leupold Mark IV are found in this optic, with the added benefit of this one not running on any batteries, making it extremely reliable. This is a true end-of-world LPVO, as the fiber optic system allows for the reticle to adjust according to the ambient light available, which is also adjustable using this dial, and in complete darkness the tritium phosphor lamp takes over, glowing naturally to provide illumination to the reticle. Just really awesome technology packed into a very high quality, inexpensive optic system. And again, I have found that the 4 power is plenty enough when shooting in or around 100 plus yards, and what you get for the money here is really worth it in my opinion. The cons are pretty small, but one of them again being that it only comes as a second focal plane option, changing your holds as you zoom in or out. But I find this matters more in optics over 4 power, as you aren't usually using this setup to shoot very far, and if you are, generally you will be at 4 power, which your holds will be accurate according to your original 0. Second, again, it doesn't come in flat dark earth, and the last con being that it doesn't come with a throw lever, which I thought was pretty weird. You have to buy one separately for another $80 if you want it, and I've tried to run it without. Up till recently I caved and purchased the lever so I don't have to struggle to adjust powers anymore. I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary, but it will definitely make a difference for you to have the lever. Other than that, I absolutely love this optic and can't say enough good things about it. Very impressed, can absolutely recommend. The last two optics are the least expensive in the list, but I still thought were pretty nice, so for the guys on a budget, the gunnr Odin LPVOs might be a good option for you. With the 1-8 retailing for around $550 and the 1-6 retailing for around $400, I thought they offered a pretty good product for the money, especially in comparison to some of the other options in this price range. I didn't really go into this very much, but both of these are first focal plane optics, which is generally a feature found in higher end options. In first focal plane optics, the reticle changes size as you zoom in or out, maintaining its proportions relative to the target. This allows accurate holdovers, ranging, and windage adjustments at any magnification. It's also generally more difficult to produce a first focal plane optic, which generally raises the cost, so it's nice to see a budget-friendly first focal plane option on the market. Besides that, the glass was really clear, the eye relief was pretty impressive, and overall I would say both of these optics were pretty rugged and great quality, especially for the price. I haven't been able to use these extensively yet, but they seem to be like a great option, so for now that's all I'll say about them. And that is it for this LPVO showdown. I hope you're able to make a more informed purchasing decision so you can get exactly what you're looking for. With whatever decision you make, just make sure you take it to the range, sight it in, and get some good training so you can be more prepared and capable of defending innocent life. I have some really cool builds I'm working on that I'm excited to share. Make sure you stick around for those. I'll see you in the next one.